But we need everybody in this room's help to keep it up, because there is countless athletes who need to be nominated that haven't been nominated yet. And there is a few in this room who I have been bugging today already. And guess what? I'll never quit. So get those nominations in. All you have to do is email me and let me know. I'll send you the nomination form and we'll go from there. We're going to induct 8 of our finest Kentucky athletes. And we'll do these kind of in alphabetical order. The 19th athlete that we'll be inducting, ran Louisville Valley High School, ran Western Kentucky University, and at the University of Kentucky. And I think you're going to see in just a moment, he had some outstanding credentials. That was him in high school. And he hasn't changed a whole lot. I mean, when you don't send me the pictures I asked for, you get what you get. And I can find them anywhere. Alfred Agee. Many of you youngsters in the room, you say, who is Alfred Agee? That's what I'm going to try to show you, because he was in your shoes once upon a time when he was a youngster. He ran at Valley High School in 1974 through 1977. And during those early days, he was under the watchful eye of a crusty old veteran. And he says, where did he get that picture? That's even better than Agee's. Charlie Mitchell, KTCCCA Hall of Fame coach. And Charlie's here with us tonight. That's Charlie and Alfred back in his younger days. The early years of 1974, Alfred came on the scene in the 100-meter dash, where he ran. That's how old he is, I'm sorry. It was a 100-yard dash. When you remember yards, you're old. He had 2 fifth-place finishes in his first state meet. But then, he'd done something right between that sophomore and junior year. 1976, he took first place in the 100 meters. He ran a 9.7. Now, you youngsters today are saying, that's fast. It's 100 yards. So I converted it for you just to give you an idea of where it was. In the 220-yard dash, you see his first place time and his conversion. He also had the 440-yard dash and his conversion time, and the triple jump. We didn't have to convert that. We're still in the metrics there, but guess what? It's probably going to change soon where you're going to metric measurements. Then none of us will know how far you long jump or triple jump. Because when a kid comes up, well, I jumped 5.31 inches, well, throw you a fish. All right? That performance in his junior year led his team to a state title. And 2 of the coaches in that picture are here. You'd never know it by that picture, but they're here. And you see that little red-headed thing off on the right? That's one of our officials and youth director in the state, Miss Linda Surratt, back in her younger days. And one of the officials today seen that and looked at it and said, what happened? 1976 state champion team. Then came his senior year. When he ran a 9.6 100-yard dash, which converts to a 10.500. That 10.500 was just 1/10 of a second off of Jim Green's state record. First place in the 220-yard dash, I don't know what happened there, but he wimped out of 400. And not that that's the first sprinter that's ever done that. He went to the long and triple and resulted in 2 more first places. It's awful nice, Coach Mitchell, to start a meet with 40 points in your pocket, isn't it? Which led to another state title. And after high school, you have to make a decision in life. And having been in those shoes once, I have no idea why I finally selected where I was going. And many of you never know why you selected where you're going. He went to Western Kentucky University for 1 year. And at Western in 1978, he qualified for the NCAA Indoor Nationals in the 60-meter dash and the NCAA Outdoor Nationals in the 100-meter dash. But after 1 year, he transferred to the University of Kentucky, where he was an outstanding sprinter, an anchor leg of the 4x100 relays. And his best time in the 100 meters of 10.26 is still on the books as one of the fastest 5 times ever as a Wildcat. A 24 plus long jumper at the collegiate level. After graduation from the University of Kentucky, he joined the U.S. Army, where he served for 23 years and served tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan. And he retired with the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. And Lieutenant, we thank you for your service to the country. He was inducted into the Mason-Dixon Athletic Hall of Fame, and 2 of the people who were inducted with him, one of them's here tonight. Reba's sitting over here in the corner. Represented there, of course, is Mr. Agee to be on your left. The next one over is the daughter of Gene Wright, the longtime coach at Franklin County High School. Reba Woodall, who was, she was at Bryan Station High School 100 years ago. And Joan Spurlock, who was at Somerset. Tommy Haynes, one of America's greatest long and triple jumpers, was inducted at the same time. And Alfred had to get up and make a speech that night, and it bothered me greatly. While he was in the service, he took the opportunity to better himself even more. Dr. Alfred Agee, a PhD, a clinical psychologist, has done well for himself. And it all started as a little youngster at Valley High School. So at this time, it's with great pleasure that we present to you Alfred Agee as our 19th athlete into the KTCCCA Hall of Fame. Our 20th athlete going into the Hall of Fame graduated from Bourbon County High School. She went on to Eastern Kentucky University, where she was a world-class athlete. Pam Ragland Andrews will be our 20th athlete inducted into the Hall of Fame. Pam was at Bourbon County High School from 1979 throughout 1983, and Pam was without a doubt one of the finest athletes ever to come out of Paris, Kentucky. Her high school career started at Bourbon County, and it was in 1979 that she scored her first point. But I introduced her coach first. And her coach, Dwayne Stewart, who's no longer with us, he's gone on to be with the Lord, but Dwayne was a very successful coach. and his finest pupil, Pam Ragland. Look at Pam's cross-country career. In the state meets, 1979 as a freshman, she finished 6th place. 1980 as a sophomore, she was 4th place. 1981 as a junior, she was 1st. 1982, she was 2nd, less than a second out of 1st. And then you remember that race, I believe it was with Missy Thomas of Union County, is that right, Pam? Who? Still in here. Connor? Okay. But I know it was less than a second between 1st and 2nd place. So, outstanding high school career in cross country. State cross country champion in 1981. And she's wondering, where he got some of these pictures? Told you I won't quit, Pam. All right, her 8th grade year. Placed 5th in the 40-yard dash. There again, Pam is old, but she's still running yards. 1980 state meet. 4th place in the 1,600-meter run. 4th place in the 400 meters. 2nd place in the 800 meters. '81 is her sophomore year. 3rd place in the 1,600 meters. 3rd place in the 400 meters. 1st place in the 800 meters. Her senior year. This is one of the outstanding accomplishments, because those of you who are track people, think of the events I'm going to put up there and the rest period she had between the events, and then look at the times. 5:13, 1,600. Came back in the 400, got 2nd place at 58.46. I got people who are fresh that couldn't run a 58.46. Then she came back in the 800 and ran a 2:20. And came, that's a triple that she ran very well. But as good as it was, look at the next year. 1st place, 5:12 in the 1,600. 57.80 in the 400. 2:16 in the 800. 11:20 in the 3,200. I got tired just reading that out. Tremendous performance her senior year. As her and Coach Stewart, I can remember him putting her in an air-conditioned camper between races that day, trying to keep her fresh for the next event. She didn't have time to get fresh. She had to warm up for the next event. Then she had a decision in life to make. At Bourbon County High School, 4 years of cross country, never lower than 6th, 1 state title and 1 state runner-up. 5 years of track, she entered 14 events and medaled in 14 events. 5-time state champion and 3-time state runner-up. She then made her choice to attend Eastern Kentucky University, where she was again under another KTCCCA Hall of Fame coach, and Coach Rick Urban and Tim Moore, the assistant at the time. She was an EKU record holder, a 13-time OVC champion, OVC track athlete of the year, OVC cross country athlete of the year, NCAA All-American, middle distance runner. She ran in the U.S. Olympic trials, a member of the Eastern Kentucky University Athletic Hall of Fame, a member of the KTCCCA Hall of Fame. Like I said, she was an NCAA All-American. She came a long way from Paris, Kentucky to run in the 1988 U.S. Olympic Trials, 1,500 meters. After her running career was over, she became a coach at Western Hills High School, and at Western Hills, she was the track and cross country coach at Western Hills from 1998 to 2003. She was the coach of the year, and her 1998 girls at Western Hills were state champions. Success follows Pam wherever she goes. The 20th athlete going into the Hall of Fame, former Bourbon County All-Stater, Eastern Kentucky All-American, and a world-class athlete. It's with pleasure that we present to you Pam Ragland. Our next athlete that we're going to present is from St. Henry and the University of Kentucky, and another world-class athlete. And that would be Maureen Egan-Cole. She was at St. Henry High School from 1987 to 1993. I'm throwing papers everywhere, but that's all right. During her days at St. Henry High School, she was under the guidance of KTCCCA Hall of Fame coach Ray Coos. High school cross country career, 1987, she finished 16th in the state meet. 1988, she was 4th. 1989, she was 2nd. 1990, she was 1st. 1991, she was 3rd. 1992, she was 2nd. But even as sparkling as her cross-country career was, track was even better. In cross-country, she was the 1990 state cross-country champion. She was a 6-time All-State cross-country runner, a 5-time track and field All-State athlete, and she led her team to state titles, and that was one of the state title teams, 1987. Got that on there twice, that's marvelous. 1989, 1990. Needless to say, she was a great leader. She made the Kentucky All-Senior team that represented Kentucky in their senior challenge meet. As an 8th grader, she was 1st place in the 800 meters. As a freshman, she was 2nd in the 400, 1st in the 800. As a sophomore, she was 3rd in the 400, 2nd in the 1600, 1st in the 800, 1st in the 3200. And I still think it's cruel and inhumane to run an athlete in those 4 distance events in the same day. She then changed coaches. Turncoat Keys left and went somewhere else, and we'll talk about that somewhere else later. But he went somewhere else to develop somebody to come back to St. Henry. And that may have been the dumbest move in track and cross country history, but we'll talk about that later. 1992, she continued with a new coach. First in the 1600, first in the 800, first in the 3200. Senior year, first in the 4x800 relay in new state record time. First in the 1600 run, new state record time. First in the 800, new state record time. First in the 3200, new state record time. Pretty good day. Pretty good day. Entered 15 events in the state meet. Entered 15 events and won 15 medals. 5-time state champion in the 800. 3-time state champion in 3200. 2-time state champion in the 1600. 15 medals in the state meet competition. Maureen Egan in her glory days at St. Henry. Maureen the Magnificent. KTCCCA Runner of the Year, 1990 and 91. First Kentucky Class A athlete, or Class A female, to break 5 minutes in the mile. National, AAU National All-American twice. Keebler All-American. Maureen Egan, a high school All-American. University of Kentucky was her college choice. She ran at the University of Kentucky from 1993 to 1996. She was under the watchful eye of another KTCCCA Hall of Fame coach, Don Weber. And you notice that all these kids seem to have Hall of Fame coaches. Good coaching produces good athletes. There at the University of Kentucky, some of her teammates. Cross country at the University of Kentucky. This one I had to put up because of that cute little boy that's in the picture with her. For all of us who officiate and know, that's the cute little Jimmy Kaiser. For those that don't know Jimmy, I don't know what Maureen saw in him, but she was getting pretty close to him that day. But as good as she was on the athletic field, this child was a brainiac. The National Honor Society 6 years in a row, middle school and high school. Academic All-State 12 times. Academic All-State SEC her junior and senior year. Her advanced studies, she graduated from University of Kentucky with a BS in dietetics. In 2000, the Good Samaritan Hospital, a nursing diploma. 2010 from Indiana Wesleyan. 2012 from the University of Cincinnati. 2013, another degree from the University of Cincinnati. And then in 2014, she is a doctorate of nursing. Wow. So we have Dr. Maureen Egan. Now, if I have a heart attack, Doug, you need to know this girl, because she is the head of chest pain and heart failure and network coordinator at Christ Hospital in Cincinnati. So old people know this beautiful creature. 21st athlete going into the Hall of Fame, representing St. Henry, the University of Kentucky, a world-class athlete, and accepting for her, Maureen gives her apologies for not being able to be here. She wanted to be so bad. But little beknownst to her at the time, her mother and father and the rest of her family had planned a 40th birthday party for her today. And her life was in danger at home if she came to see us. So now I have to have my picture made with her first coach, Ray Keys. Did you hear what he said? He said, I think she's better looking. And the whole world said, amen. The next one that we look at bringing into the KTCCCA Hall of Fame is one of our old timers. I remember her way back when she was a little bitty bony thing. Now she looks like she's 7 feet tall. 22nd athlete going into the Hall of Fame representing Banquet County High School. She went to Purdue University, then she transferred to the University of Kentucky where she was a world-class athlete. Kim Hawkins. And she's wondering, where did he get that picture? I told you I'm going to find him somewhere. At Bath County High School, she represented the school from 1978 to 1985. While she was at Bath County High School, she was under the direction of a KTCCCA Hall of Fame coach that is nominated for the Hall of Fame. She hasn't come in yet, but it's only a matter of time. Opie Newkirk. Opie is now the cross-country coach at Montgomery County High School, so she's still involved and still active. She still likes to run road races. She's lost her mind. Let's look at Kim's cross-country career. In cross-country as a sixth grader, 1978, she was 6th place. Her 7th grade year, she was 9th place. Her 8th grade year, she was 7th place. Her freshman year, she was 3rd place. Her sophomore year, she was 1st place. Her junior year, she was 1st place. And her senior year, she was 1st place. 3 times state champion. 1982, 1983, and 1984. In track, as a 7th grader, she was 5th place in the 1600 meters. As an 8th grader, she was 2nd place in the 1600 meters. As a freshman, she was 1st place in the 1600 and 1st place in the 800. 1983 was her sophomore year. She was 1st in the 16, 1st in the 800. Her junior year, 1st place in the 1600, 4th place in the 400, 1st place in the 800. And you're asking, where's the 3200? It hadn't been invented yet for girls at that age. That tells you Kim is old. Senior year, she was 1st in the 16, 1st in the 800. In her senior year, she led her team to a state track and field title. Kentucky All-State cross-country runner, 7 consecutive years. U.S. High School Track and Field All-American in 1985. She chose Purdue University to start her career, where she ran under the legendary coach Fred Wilk. And upon his retirement, she then moved to the University of Kentucky, where again she was under at KTCCCA Hall of Fame coach Don Wood. Three-time NCAA track and field All-American. Ran the anchor leg on the DMR to the fastest time in the nation in 1986. The 22nd athlete inducted into the Hall of Fame, representing Bath County and the University of Kentucky, a world-class athlete, Kim Hawkins. She got it all. 23rd athlete going into the Hall of Fame from Shawnee County High School and Indiana State University. Is a young man, Chris Lancaster. Really only had 2 years of high school competition. He didn't get started early. At Shelby County from 1983 to 1985. And you see, he was under the direction of the KTCCCA Hall of Fame coach, Larry Wingfield. I have to tell you a story. Larry's not with us tonight because he's ill. He called me earlier this morning. He is ill and not been able to be here. He wanted to apologize to Chris. But, Larry was my college roommate. So all the accomplishments Chris achieved is because of me. Because I taught his coach everything he knows. And now you know who to blame him on. No, Roland Dales is brother. Roland took up where I left off with Larry. But look at Chris' accomplishments in 2 years' time. As a sophomore, first place in 110 hurdles, pretty respectable time. First place in 300 intermediate hurdles. But he had a problem, he hit a lot of hurdles. But fortunately, he hit them early and he was able to recover. As a junior, first place in 110 hurdles, or the 110 meter hurdles, first place in the 300 hurdles. The young man was never beaten in the high school hurdle race in Kentucky. Actually ran a 13.5 high hurdle race in Kentucky. In his senior year, he was able to run the Mason-Dixon Games. He ran a 7.95, which was the fastest time in the nation that year. He didn't get to run his senior year in track because he was, at the time, the KTCCCA age requirement, he was 3 days too old. That's since been changed to where he could have run his senior year then. It's hard for me to imagine what this gentleman might have had he had his actual senior year completely. But he ran a 13.54, and he became a high school All-American because of that performance. And his performance his junior year helped lead his team to a state title. And I see him looking at that picture and smiling. That's bringing back memories there. Especially that bearded wonder on the left there. In that picture was also the state record holder in the long jump. He's held that record for what, 35 years, 24 something. Chris chose then to go to Indiana State University. At Indiana State, he was under the direction of his USATF Hall of Fame coach, John Nichols. And even though he was outstanding in high school, he was even better in college. Chris became Indiana State's first NCAA track and field individual champion as he won the D1 110-meter hurdles in 1990. And during his collegiate career, Chris set the Missouri Valley Conference and Indiana State record in the 110 hurdles at 13.45, as well as setting school records in the 55-meter hurdles at 7.17 and the 400-meter hurdles at 50.08. A three-time Missouri Valley champion indoors in the 55 hurdles. He also three Missouri Valley titles in 110-meter hurdles, as well as being a three-time Missouri Valley champion in the 400 hurdles. Chris was an NCAA All-American. First ever NCAA champion in the Indiana State, NCAA All-American in the 110-meter high hurdles. And he went on and ran in the Olympic trials. Ladies and gentlemen, it's with pleasure that I give to you the 23rd inductee into the Hall of Fame, representing Shelby County High School and Indiana State University, a world-class hurdler, Chris Lancaster. Now, the youngsters in the room have never heard this name. This is one of the elderly ladies of track and field. 24th athlete going in, representing Boyd County High School. She went to Morehead State University, then transferred to the University of Kentucky, where she was a world-class thrower. Deanna Patrick Pennington. Deanna went to Boyd County from 1972 to 1976. You'll see when you see some of her credentials where she was one of the first truly good shot discus throwers in Kentucky high school history. She had one burden in life, though. She had to run for a KTCCCA, but didn't have to run. She had to throw for a Hall of Fame coach. And we can't understand how she was so successful with this guy representing her. But her high school coach was Bob Stacy. In 1974, her sophomore year, she was second place in the shot put at 39 feet, 11.25 inches. Her junior year, first place in the shot, state record, 41.5. Now, most of us don't realize that until 1989, the ladies threw an 8-pound shot. After that, it's a 4-kilo shot at 8 pounds, 13 ounces. So Deanna's record of 41.5 was the 8-pound shot. And she became the first Kentucky female to break 41 feet with that throw, a new state record there. 1976, first place in the shot, new state record. First place in the discus, new state record. And that discus record stood for 29 years until Pam Bell of Paducah County finally broke it. That's how far Deanna was ahead of her time. And Doug, you need this picture for your archives of an outstanding cage for discus. If you've seen this cage today, and I walked on there as an official, I would have to cancel the discus competition, because it meets no specifications of any safety thing set by the National Federation or the KTCCCA. But this is probably a luxury back in those days. Well, that's a strategy session right there. The ageless Bob Stacy and his star pupil. All right, she was, her first choice to go to school was real close to home, and then she moved a little farther away from home. But at Moorhead, she was again under a KTCCCA Hall of Fame coach by the name of Buck Dawson. She set a school record at Moorhead in 1977. She threw 49.8 and 142.5 to establish school records, and they still stay until this day, 37 years later. I told you she's getting old. She then transferred to the University of Kentucky. That shows you right there, fellas. That's a pretty stout lady. I don't even want to begin to count how much weight's on that barbell, because the barbell hurt me. She was a KWIC champion and record holder in the shot put and the discus in 1977 and 1978. She placed third in the shot put at the Madison Square Gardens in New York against the Europeans. At the 1997 at the AIAW in Los Angeles, she made the U.S. team versus Italy. In 1978, she was third in the shot put at the New York Indoor Nationals. 1977, she was first in the shot put at the St. Louis Indoor Nationals. She was invited to the U.S. Olympic Training Center. The 24th athlete going into the Hall of Fame, representing Boyd County High School, Moorhead State, the University of Kentucky, a world-class athlete, Deanna Boyd. Our 25th athlete going into the Hall of Fame represents Paducah-Tillman High School, the University of Arkansas, the University of Texas, and again, a world-class athlete, Jason Ward. You know, this child spent a lifetime running from his father. He was born to run. He was a child. KTCCCA Hall of Fame coach Cecil Ward. He had no prayer in life. He had to run, he had to jump, he had to throw. I imagine he was going over furniture in the house before he ever entered school. You see there just a token of the few medals that he won in his early years in AAU, as his daddy made him go to every meet in the United States except his age group. He was in Paducah-Tillman High School from 1995 to 1999. He played a little football there. Pretty successful, but at the same time, his success really came in the sports of track and field. At Paducah, he had the distinct pleasure of being with Hall of Fame coach Augie Schuler, as well as his father, Hall of Fame coach Cecil Ward. They watched over him. I don't know how he survived those two, but he done pretty well at it. Jason really followed in his dad's footsteps. His dad was an outstanding college athlete himself and excelled in the decathlon. And I always wondered why Jason never went into the decathlon, because in high school he done every event they had in the decathlon except run the mile. And he probably ran that, didn't wait for dad to practice so he could go home. Let's look a little bit at what he did as a sophomore. And I don't know why, but every time I seen him jump, he always had his tongue stuck in. I don't know what that was for, what the signal that was to somebody in the bleachers or what. He always had his tongue stuck out. As a sophomore, he was first in the state in the triple jump. As a junior, he was first in the triple jump and first and second in the long jump. As a senior, first in the triple, first in the long. See, he didn't know I had his high school graduation picture. So I'm telling you, I'll find these pictures somewhere. 3-time state champion in the triple jump. 2-time Mason-Dixon champion in the triple jump. 1-time state champion in the long jump. USATF Junior Olympic champion in long and triple. Gold West Invitational champion in the triple jump. (1999) he triple jumped 53 feet 10 1/4 inches. Track and Field News lists this today as the 3rd best triple jump in high school history. He was an 8-time AAU All-American, a 4-time AAU National Champion, a USATF National Junior Champion. He decided to enroll at the University of Arkansas and later at the University of Texas. 2 more Hall of Fame coaches, John McDonald and Bubba Thornton. And I don't even want to begin to think of some of the things he had to do to put up with him, especially Bubba. Because Bubba was a piece of work. At Arkansas, I remember being there at the indoor arena there in Fayetteville when they had to have a sparkling performance in the triple jump from somebody so that they could win the indoor NCAA title. And Jason was the one that produced. You see him there on the runway there. NCAA All-American 3 times in the triple jump while he was at Arkansas. USATF Junior National Champion in the triple jump. And he was ranked #1 in the world for triple jumpers under 20 years of age. Transferred to the University of Texas. Big 12 champion. NCAA track and field 3-time All-American in long and triple. U.S. national finalist in the 2000 long jump. I got to tell you a story there. We were in Sacramento, he had jumped, he had made the finals. Cecil and Jason were walking around the track where I was standing. And Cecil, I said, how'd he do? And he told me, and he said, you know, but the only thing he's happy about, he made the finals, he gets to come back the next day and jump. I said, what's he happy about? He said, he's just thrilled because he has to go pee in a bottle to see if he's legal. So you just got to set your priorities where they are. One of the outstanding long jumpers and triple jumpers in the nation. Jason was a proud papa who followed him everywhere. Cecil's bankrupt from traveling around the world. So, made the cover of Texas Media Guide. Jason Ward participated in the 2000 U.S. Olympic trials in the long jump. And Now, I know for a fact that this next part, he did not take after his father. He is now an author of 3 books that you see there. Mother must have been an awesome lady. 25th athlete inducted into the Hall of Fame, representing Paducah Tillman, the University of Arkansas, the University of Texas, a world-class triple jumper, Jason Ward. Twenty-sixth athlete going into the Hall of Fame. I mean, we just met Jason, but Paducah Tillman has produced some outstanding track and field athletes throughout down through the years. These are just a couple of the 2 that are going in, as I really think many more will be coming in the future. Because I will bug everybody in Paducah until I get the nominations. This next young man, also from Paducah, went to the University of Louisville, the University of Kentucky, and he was a marvelous runner. One of the smoothest runners I ever seen in high school. I didn't worry about beating him because he lapped my runners in the 100. He embarrassed mine. He was at Paducah Tillman High School from 1986 to 1990. During his days at Paducah, another KTCCCA Hall of Fame coach, Lyman Brown. As an 8th grader, this young gangly thing came and told his coaches that he thought he could run. He'd like to run for Paducah Tillman as Coach Lyman and Coach Augie Schuler were planning the season. And as an 8th grader, they never had any dreams of what he might do. Remember, this is an 8th grader. And I went too fast there. First and second in the 100 and 200. That don't happen for 8th graders. We only wish that as coaches that we could get somebody like that from time to time. 1987 state as a freshman. First in the 100. First in the 200. First in the 400. (1988). First in the 100. First in the 200. First in the 400. (1989). First in the 100. First in the 200. First in the 400. During his high school career, he was never beaten by a Kentucky athlete in the sprints. Randy White, the most dominant sprinter in Kentucky high school track and field history. Never beaten in the state meet in any event that he entered. He sometimes got the baton behind when he was on the outer leg. Didn't matter. He made that up real quick. Track and field All-American through Track and Field News. High school track and field All-American. he was nearly as dominant on the football field. He quarterbacked the Blue Tornadoes to 3 consecutive state championship games. And during his senior year, he was named as one of the top 100 football players in the United States. And success followed him throughout his career as he chose the pigskin sport over track and field. He enjoyed success at both Louisville and Kentucky and played in bowl games, representing both schools, and he was captain of the University of Kentucky's football team. First 8th grader to win Class AAA 100 and 200. First 4-time winner of the 100 and 200. First 3-time winner of the 100, 200, and 400. 15 KTCCCA gold medals. 1987 Gatorade Runner of the Year. Like I said, he was pretty good as a quarterback of the Duke Tillman football team and led his team. He went to the universities of Louisville and Kentucky, where he did play in bowl games at both schools. Giving back to the sport, he went back to Paducah Tillman High School, where he was head coach of the 2009 KTCCCA 3A football state champions. But there again, he'd probably still be there, but there was too many bleacher coaches that gave him headaches. So he went back to the sport that he belongs in, because we like him there. Coach Randy White at Paducah, 10 times he's already won KTCCCA state Devil A track and field titles. You know, it's very possible he could be the first person inducted as an athlete, and before his career is over, could very well be inducted as a coach into the KTCCCA Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a real pleasure that we give you a Paducah Tillman graduate, an athlete at the University of Louisville and the University of Kentucky, the best sprinter to ever come out of Kentucky, dominating the sport like he did. Randy Wyatt at Paducah Tillman. Now we go with the first of our 4 coaches that will be inducted tonight. Our first one represents a lot of high schools: Western Hills, Seton, Fern Creek, Shelby County, and Oldham County. A young man named Brian Crumble. Let's look at Brian. Brian started out at Floyd Central High School in New Albany, Indiana. He then chose Georgia Tech. At Floyd Central, he had more hair than I've ever seen on his head. Now, I went to New Albany. I grew up in New Albany, Indiana, and I know they had barbers there, because I always ran with a bird. I had to put this picture in, because he ran for Donnie McWilliams. And Donnie was a high school teammate of mine. And I taught Donnie everything he knows, too. So I'm part of Brian Crumble's success. And besides that, his mother is here. And I was a high school classmate with her. Go Bulldogs. Brian was 4th in the Indiana State High School meet. Then he chose to go on to Georgia Tech. Pretty good track and cross country runner. And as a coach, I'm always critiquing people's form. Brian, you look good. Good arm action, good foot plant. I'm proud of you. It's the things I taught Coach Williams that he passed on to me. Brian was a journeyman coach. He was at so many high schools, not because he was hard to get along with or anything like that. But he had a wife that's a brainiac too. And she kept getting tremendous job offers that increased his payroll quite a bit, so he followed her wherever she went. He started out at Western Hills High School in Frankfort, Kentucky. After a little success there, he went to Seton High School in Cincinnati. A little success there. He went to Shelby County. A little success there. He went to Fern Creek. A little success there. To Shelby County, again, a little success there. And then to Oldham County, a little success. Are you getting the hint that he is successful? 1994 state champions at Western Hills High School. 1995 state champions at Western Hills High School. 1996 state champions at Western Hills High School. 1997 state champions at Western Hills High School. His wife got a job offer in Ohio because the AA coaches wanted him out of the state. 1996 state track and field champions. In 20 plus years of coaching, his 4 KTCCCA state champion cross country teams, 1 KTCCCA state track and field championships, 2 Kentucky State runner-up team trophies, 2 Kentucky State 4th place finishes, 9 regional championships, 2 league championships in Ohio, 8 individual state champions, 12 individual state runner-ups, 31 individual first team all-state honors, 26 individuals received second team all-state. Many regional track and field titles. Highly respected by his coaching peers, 2-time president of the Kentucky Track and Cross Country Coaches Association, a member of the KTCCCA Executive Committee as an area representative, 13 times selected as a Coach of the Year, 12 times selected as a Regional Coach of the Year, 5 times selected as the Girls AA Coach of the Year, 2 times selected as the overall Girls Coach of the Year in the entire state. Named National High School Athletic Coaches Association Region 1 Coach of the Year. Outstanding track and field official. Spent a little time at Fern Creek, a little time at Shelby County, a little time at Oldham County. Ladies and gentlemen, the 113th coach inducted into the Kentucky Track and Cross Country Coaches Association's Hall of Fame. It's with pleasure we present to you Brian Crumbo. Next coach that we're looking at is a coach that all of us as coaches only wish we had the success that this young man has had in the short time that he's been the head coach. Let's look a little bit at the career of Tony Harden as he come into the running world. He was an athlete himself at Bishop Brossard High School, later went on and got his college degree at Northern Kentucky University. During his time at Bishop Rosser from 1991 to 1995, he learned the tricks of the trade, coaching trade, from a crusty old veteran by the name of Ray Pease. You know, we've heard this name before tonight. And he's got other athletes that I think we'll hear from him in the future. But Tony, during his time as a Mustang at Bishop Rosser, was a pretty decent runner himself. During 4 years of high school cross country, he was 2 times second team All-State, 2 times honorable mention All-State. And he helped lead his team to the 1991 Class A Boys State Cross Country Championship. You see him there on the front row. 1992 state champions. You see him there again on the front row. Little celebration going on after the competition. And those people up at the horse park after a cross-country win sometime, Class A people got, they had a good time. I think Tony stole both the state meet trophies. I believe he has them at home. First coaching job, he was the girls' assistant track and cross-country coach at Bishop Rosser High School, where he learned more of the tricks of the trade from another crusty old veteran, the girls' coach, Hall of Fame coach Dave Shue. During this 5-year span, he was the assistant coach with Coach Shue. They combined to win 5 consecutive state track and field titles. So you think about that. High school, Tony was part of 2 state champion teams, and now he's won 5 state girls titles with the help of Coach Shue, of course. And then the dumbest move in KTCCCA sports history was Dave Shue and Ray Pease let this boy go to St. X, or St. Henry, and it's never been the same for Coach Shue since. He went to St. Henry 2002 to 2015. Winning has followed him, and it followed him big time. Finished his 15th year at St. Henry. He has done nothing but dominate Class A in cross country and track. 9 girls state cross country titles, and you see the years there. And he ain't got a white hair in his head yet. 12 consecutive KHSA regional titles. 2 individual state champions, 10 individual regional champions. And this is just cross country. 8 times he's been the KHSA state track and field state champions. They had one bad year. They got second. I really feel for him. 30 individuals are relay state champions, 8 indoor state team titles, 13 regional team titles, 70 individual or relay champions. Highly respected by his coaching peers, he's been 13 years as the KTCCCA area rep for Northern Kentucky, 12 years as the Northern Kentucky Track and Cross Country Coaches Association president. Success brings awards. Cross country, Cincinnati Enquirer Coach of the Year 9 times. Kentucky Post Coach of the Year 4 times. KTCCCA Coach of the Year 9 times. Northern Kentucky Track and Cross Country Coaches Association Coach of the Year 5 times. National High School Athletic Coaches Association National Coach of the Year finalist in 2010. And that's just cross country. In track and field, Cincinnati Enquirer Coach of the Year 8 times, Post Coach of the Year 4 times, KTCCCA Coach of the Year 7 times, National High School Athletic Coaches Association National Coach of the Year finalist, 2 different occasions. 23 years ago, he started his amazing running career. And since then, he's ran on 2 state champion teams, assistant coach on 5 state champion teams, the head coach of 9 state cross-country champions, the head coach of 8 state track champions, a part of 24 state championships. And he don't have a white hair. And he still shares it with Mama and Papa Hardin. Ladies and gentlemen, it's with pleasure I present to you an outstanding young man and introduce him into the Hall of Fame. From St. Henry, Tony Hardin. Our next individual is an old timer. I know how old he is because I coached against him in college. Bert Oglesby came to us. He grew up in McAlester, Oklahoma. He went to Oklahoma Baptist University. He moved from there into Ohio where he received his postgraduate work. Back in his high school days, he was a 4-year letterman on the cross-country team that won the Oklahoma State Championships. In track, he was a regional champion of the 120-yard high hurdles and the high jump. He went on to Oklahoma Baptist, where he was a 4-year letterman in cross-country and was 22nd in the NAIA National Championship. He was a 3-year letterman in track and field. At Ohio University, he became the head cross-country coach, the assistant track coach from 58 to 61. He then came to Western Kentucky University in 1965 as the assistant coach. Let me point out there in that picture, you see the young man here, former coach of Elizabethtown High School. He was the head coach at Western Kentucky University at the time and brought in Birch as the assistant coach. And he stayed 1 year, and he went on and became the head coach of the national Swedish team. He's a renowned author, has produced several track and field books that they use in colleges and such. A big name in track and field for many years. But then Dr. Oglesby took over. 1965, he was the assistant from 61 to 71. Then he was the head coach. 5 years as the head coach at Western Kentucky for men's track and field and cross country. 5 years at Western, his teams won the OVC title every year. And that's back when the OVC was a whole lot bigger conference than it is today. That was a tough accomplishment to win those things. He coached Western Kentucky's first track and field national champions. He coached Western Kentucky's first track and cross country All-Americans. He was named as one of the OVC's all-time track coaches list. Excuse me, I went and did drink. There you see one of his track and field teams. And there's one individual in there that would be really impressive to many of the officials in the room. Do you see? Do you recognize him? Many don't. But the officials in the room, old coaches in the room, Western Kentucky sprint sensation and KTCCA Hall of Fame coach, Kentucky Chuck Gullo, ran for Western Kentucky University. And I know for a fact he put white hair in Bert Oglesby's head. Bert was named the list of all-time OVC track and field coaches when they organized the celebration, his 40th anniversary. He coached Western Kentucky University's first All-American, Henry Jackson in the long jump, and Bob Stolen in the discus in the 1970s, and they were Hilltopper's first All-Americans in track and field. This next individual, I was coaching against this team, and I could beat most of the runners except that one. Hector Ortiz was a two-time All-American, and he was tougher than me. And I can still remember that Andre little thing way up front of all my runners. And another coach and I were looking the other day, and we were able to list 16 people who have run for Western Kentucky University, either in the time of, who was the coach right before Bird's? Help me, Curtis. No, before him. Anyway, we counted 16 coaches who have come on who win state titles in track or cross country that went to college and ran at Western Kentucky University. So that's a pretty good accomplishment, speaking well for all the coaches down through all the way up to Coach Eric now. Under his guidance, the Hilltopper teams set or tied a total of 16 school records. More than 15 of his athletes laid claim to 34 individual and relay victories in the 5 years that he coached. There. You talk about two colossal old fossils. Bert Oglesby was inducted into the Western Athletic Hall of Fame, and he's there with another KTCCA Hall of Fame coach, Curtis Long, who coached at Western for many years until he got old like me and had to give it up to Mr. Eric Jenkins. Dr. Oglesby retired from coaching in 1971 to take over as head of the Department of Physical Education and Recreation at WKU and served the university in that capacity until his retirement in 2000. However, his love of track and field stayed, and his love of the Hilltopper program. And knowing Bert as long as I've known him, I simply cannot believe that he has not given Coach Long or Coach Jenkins a piece of advice, give his opinion on what you were doing wrong. 35 years he stood on top of the hill. As a head track and field coach, he ruled the OVC from 66 to 70. 5 OVC championships, 34 individual OVC champions. 1998, he was honored by the OVC as one of their all-time track and field coaches. Was way ahead of his time, scientifically and technique-wise. He helped break the color barrier, not only in Kentucky, but throughout vast areas of the OVC in the South. And I've heard many times from some of his former Afro-Americans that he was the one that got them to stay in the same hotels and got them in the same restaurants where his other athletes were. One of the first in the OVC in the South to recruit the African Americans. Coach WKU's first track and field All-Americans, Henry Jackson and Bob Tolman, and he coached Hector Ortiz, a two-time All-American. 5 years on the Hill as and coach, and 30 years on the Hill as chairman of the Health and Physical Education Department. He was the past president of the Kentucky Association of Health, Physical Education, and Recreation and Dance, and he held that position more than once. He served and played an active role in various state, regional, and national physical education organizations. He was a member of the 4th class inducted into the WKU Athletic Hall of Fame, was a member of the 1st class to be introduced into the WKU College of Health and Human Services Hall of Fame. He was inducted into the Mason-Dixon Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, we present Dr. Burge Oglesby, who will be represented tonight by Curtis Long, who took over Burge's spot. I have to be careful and speak nice things because this whole room is full of North Hardin people. They are everywhere. And some of you people didn't get your food on time because you could not believe the plate that John Russell carried back to his table. He even embarrassed Sam. Beginning of a legend. Now, you ever think back when you've seen your first kitty cat or your first little puppy, and you wish you could give it a shot so it would never grow up? There it is. There it is. Because you're going to see what he grew up to look like. He went to Fort Knox High School from 1981 to 1985. Look at that dapper young man. He dabbled into quite a few sports. I think he was looking for himself. Over the course of his high school athletic career, he received multiple athletic letters while competing in the sports of football, basketball, baseball, tennis, and that sport I can't say. Soccer. I hate that game. It's messed up a lot of good track people and cross-country runners' careers. Say amen, coaches. Amen. All right, after high school, I made a little trip eastward to where he went to Eastern Kentucky University and graduated in 1991 with a degree in physical education. Then went back home, where he was assistant football coach and assistant track coach. He began in the fall of 1991 when he joined legendary football coach Joe Jagger's staff as an assistant coach at North Hardin, where he would eventually become the defensive coordinator under head coach Joe Washington. He also became assistant track and field coach under two more KTCCCA Hall of Fame coaches, Rudy McKinney and Bill Dennison, where he served as a sprint coach for both the boys and girls programs. And these two KTCCCA Hall of Fame coaches, the program really got started strongly under Bo O'Brien and Barb Underwood, but these sorry people in North Hardin haven't nominated them yet. Do you get the hint? Rudy McKinney and Bill Dennison, KTCCA Hall of Fame coaches that were mentors to Coach Webb as he began his career in track and field. He then went back to Eastern Kentucky University, where he had a graduate assistant scholarship. And he got to work under two more KTCCCA Hall of Fame coaches, in Rick Erdman and Tim Lloyd. And during his time there, he was instrumental in a young lady qualifying for the NCAA finals in the triple jump. Probably it's determined why he's had such good people doing that same event at North Hardin. Coach Webb left the college scene and returned to North Hardin. That's him while he was an assistant there at Eastern. You know, every successful coach knows his strengths and weaknesses. You know, he returned to North Hardin in 1998 in the spring, and this will mark his 18th year as the head track coach. He returned. His mentor, Rudy McKinney, decided he was getting old, and he lost all his hair. But Coach Webb was offered a head track job, and he's not one to accept a lot of praise on himself. He gives a lot of credit to his coaching staff, because he knows that he's got strength and he's got weaknesses. But the sign of a good coach is when they fill those weaknesses with people that can help him in those events and help bring athletes on. And that is one homely looking fruit. But do they ever produce? All the jelks. I just never had understood jelks. In 20 plus years as coach of the Trojans, his teams have won 14 boys regional track championships, 19 girls regional championships, 4 boys state runner-ups, 6 girls state runner-ups, 5 boys state track and field champions, 2 girls state track and field champions, 35 plus individual state champions. Over the years, of course, of 22 years of coaching, he has coached 7 state champion teams, 9 state runner-ups, his record of coaching individual state champions is unprecedented, as he has coached 40 individuals to first place finishes in the KTCCCA state meet. In the KTCCCA championship meets, most notably in 2004, he coached Dante Johnson and Kiana Gray, both of whom will be honored later tonight as high school track athletes of the year. Kiana may well be the best Trojan ever before she graduates. She already holds 3 state records and will return again this year. Coach Webb is one of the most prolific, also coached one of the most prolific athletes in the state of Kentucky has ever produced. KTCCCA Hall of Fame athlete Joey Stockton. He was inducted in, he was the Kentucky High School Athlete of the Year in 93 and 94, the 3-time All-American football player at Western Kentucky University, as well as a WKU Hall of Famer. Coach Webb has been named the KTCCCA Track and Field Coach of the Year 4 times and has been nominated for National Coach of the Year. You know, perhaps his greatest performance was in 2013 when the North Hardin boys and girls both won state titles. But what makes it all possible is he is in charge of the team home and his management there. It's what he comes home to each day and encourages him, and it's his biggest fans. Ladies and gentlemen, it's with pleasure that we introduce to you the 116th coach to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, representing North Hardin High School, James Webb. At this time, I give you the president of the Kentucky USATF, Frank Newton.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate all the award winners, and especially Coach Webb. Coach Webb and my son coached against each other for several years, so it's always a pleasure to see one of the good ones get to this point. Each year I get to present a President's Award, and it's to individuals that I feel have really given to the USATF in Kentucky. And the first one that I'd like to give this year is David Clark. David Clark has really stepped up. He started to do a whole lot of work with the track and cross country meets. He does a lot of the time work. I work with Dave a lot of different things, and this just past month he was the officials coordinator for the cross country coaches youth nationals in Brentwood, Tennessee. So I'd like to present at this time David Clark. The other individual, if you've done any track meets or any cross-country meets in the state, probably you've run into him because he's either working or he's doing the official coordinating or a myriad of other things that he does for the USATF, as well as being vice president as well. Besides earning the President's Award here at the annual meeting in Anaheim, California this past month, Tim was also the 2014 USATF Kentucky Association Volunteer of the Year. So, congratulations, Tim.
This year was a great year for Kentucky USATF youth. I'm happy to say that we had more participation this year, but have barely scratched the surface as far as what we could do with your help. These athletes represented Kentucky very well, and hopefully will continue to do so in the future. The award winners this year are compiling statistics worthy of future Hall of Famers. First, let's talk track and field. The Female Athlete of the Year is a very special young lady. She's a two-time Miss Kentucky Track and Field and two-time Kentucky Gatorade Runner of the Year. She won 4 Class AAA state titles in May, setting 2 overall records in the 200 meter and the 400 meter. Her PRs of 11:53 in the 100, 23:72 in the 200, and 54:60 in the 400 meters sit as the fastest time in Kentucky history in any high school meet. She wins this award for her dominating performance at the Youth Championships in Bloomington. She won the 17-18 100-meter dash with a time of 11:98. Our 2014 Kentucky Female Youth Athlete of the Year is Kiana Gray. She's not here, so accepting Ms. Coach Russell. The male track athlete is equally as impressive. He won 3 outdoor KTCCCA Class A state championships in the 110 high hurdles, high jump, and the pole vault, and was runner-up in the triple jump. Earlier in the year, he won 2 KTCCCA indoor championships in the 55-meter high hurdles and the high jump, and was runner-up in both long and triple jump. He wins this award for his dominating performance at the Youth Championships as well. He won the grueling 2-day decathlon with a score of 5,628 points. He beat his next closest competitor by over 600 points. Our 2014 Kentucky Male Track Athlete of the Year is William Connor Messer. cross country this year, Kentucky sent a big group to Myrtle Beach to the Junior Olympic National last month. We sent 51 athletes and 5 were named All-Americans. And I believe one of the teams finished 6th. The female cross-country athlete of the year has won numerous events at the middle school level and also runs for her high school team. She finished 8th this year at the KTCCCA AAA State Cross Country Meet. She's receiving this award for her performance at the JO National Cross Country Meet. She finished 18th in the 11-12 division with a time of 10:50 and is also one of our All-Americans. Our 2014 Kentucky Youth Cross Country Athlete of the Year is Mackenzie Cooper. The male cross-country athlete is also a previous award winner. He's won this, I believe, several times. He continues to amaze. He runs and wins just about every event we host. At the Junior Olympics Nationals, he finished 3rd in the 9-10 division with a time of 10:30.29 and is also one of our All-Americans. Our 2014 Kentucky male youth cross-country athlete is Thor Newsom. Thor and his family are still in Japan, so Coach Rayleigh, I believe, is accepting his award. There he is.
All right, now we're moving on to the Long Distance Running Awards for the state of Kentucky. My name is David Lawhorn. I am the chair of the Long Distance Running Committee here in Kentucky. First off, we will recognize our women's LDR winner, and if Allie wants to walk on up, I'll talk a little bit about her as she walks towards us. This past 2004 season, Allie recorded the fastest 5K road time and performance for a female athlete in the state of Kentucky, running 16:28 at a local 5K in Frankfort, Kentucky. She also was the top American at the Cooper River 10K earlier this spring. Allie Grace Morgan, our women's. And I will be very brief. The male LDR recipient for 2014 is Michael Eaton from Bowling Green, Kentucky, and of course, University of Louisville athlete. Is not able to be here today, but he is well on his way to qualifying for the 2016 Olympic trial.
Here, when the race went off, people just watched the race and they're going like, boy, who is this guy? Who is this guy? By the end, everyone knew who he was. The AAA boys cross-country athlete of the year, Brennan Fields. And our overall athletes of the year were Gabby Karras of Collins and Ethan Shuley of Highlands. Again, getting down to the nice people, the nice coaches that coach your athletes during the year. Our elementary girls coach of the year won the elementary the 4th grade race at state meet in 2013 and turned around and ran won the 1600 this year with Eastside Middle out of Bullitt County. The thing is, we only had one 6th grader on that team, so they're going to be a contender again next year. Lenny Rayleigh is Eastside coach. Our elementary boys coach of the year, first year coach. in a really big race. Their team scored 37 points and had 5 in the top 17. Jeremy Hardy of Goshen. Jonathan Hall of Beaumont won the title by 50 points. Class A Girls Coach of the Year. Again, he started coaching in 2002 or 2003, and that's when I retired. So I think I must have known something then. Our Class A Girls Coach of the Year, Tony Harden of St. Henry. Our Class A Boys Coach of the Year, I don't think he's able to be here with us, won his second straight championships, Rob Braun of Bishop Rosser. AA Girls Coach of the Year, again couldn't be here. Brian Alessandro of Highlands won his third straight title. And one of the next guys coming up, being a 5th straight title for North Oldham, our AA Boys Coach of the Year, David St. Louis. Our AAA Girls Coach of the Year called and said he's probably got what I'm about to get or whatever. It's Rick Heim of Sacred Heart, won by 79 points in AAA Girls. And the AAA Boys Coach of the Year, probably one of the most detailed persons I have ever met. I did a meet for him a few years ago. His course was washed out. He changed all 3 courses. I walked up and he said, my 3,000 course is short by 50 meters, my 4,000 course is 120 feet long, and my 5,000 course is 60 feet short. Stan Clark of South Oldham, outstanding. Stands another reason why you run the races instead of mailing in the results. I'd like to recognize all these our overall coaches of the year. Tony Harden from St. Henry, whose team would have placed 2nd overall on all the girls' teams that day, and Stan Clark of South Oldham. Our University Women's Track and Field Athlete of the Year couldn't be here with us is Kendra Harrison of University of Kentucky. She was SEC champion in the 100-meter hurdles. And the 400-meter hurdles, NCAA's 400-meter hurdles, she was 2nd. And in the 100-meter hurdles at the NCAA finals, she was 5th. Our University Men's Track and Field Athlete, Chuck Medley said he was moving to Seattle yesterday. Matt Hillenbrand of the University of Kentucky, the fastest Kentucky runner ever in the mile, 3:57 at Iowa State at an indoor meet. He was indoor SEC mile champ, ran a 1:48.07 in Kentucky relays in the 800. He went on and ran in the USATF National Championships for the 3:39.84 1500 and won the NACAC under 23 1500 meter championship in August. Our collegiate women's athlete, track and field athlete of the year is Christiana Harris, a graduate of Scott County. She's at Campbellsville. She was All-American in the triple jump at 38 feet, 3/4 of an inch last spring. Christiana Harris of Campbellsville. Our college men's track and field athlete of the year, product right here in Lexington, Henry Clay, Brendan Kelly, University of Cumberland. He won the Center UC Mid-South 800 meters and qualified for NAIA Nationals in the 800. Brendan Kelly of University of Cumberland. University Women's Cross Country Athlete of the Year has already been recognized once. Emily Frith of Bellarmine, formerly of Lincoln County, placed 4th in the NCAA D2s at Tom Sawyer, and she was also 2nd in the NCAA Regionals. And our University Men's Cross Country Athlete of the Year is Edward Cavici of University of Louisville, was runner-up in the Southeast Regional and 23rd in the NCAAs. Our college women's cross country athlete of the year, been around, seems like forever. Years ago, 6 years, I don't know how many years in Owen County she ran. ran at the University of Cumberland. This was her third time All-American NAIA honor at the University of Cumberland, and she was a Mid-South Conference Cross Country Championship. Danielle, who our college men's cross-country athlete of the year was John Paul Williamson of Lindsey Wilson. He was fourth in the Mid-South Conference, won the Midway Invitational as the top Kentucky finisher in the NAIA National Championships in Rim Rock, Kansas. Our university men's and women's track and field coach of the year comes from Western Kentucky. I had a clinic about 6 or 7 years ago when he first started coaching. I had a world record, the coach of one of the world record holders just happened to sit in on his session. He comes up to me and prays probably the greatest compliment I've ever heard for a clinician. He said, "This kid knows what he's doing." 7 years later, he's proved that he knows what he's doing. He won the Sun Belt with the women, qualified 10 women for the NCAAs. He was runner-up in the Sun Belt with the men. He was ranked 4th in the regional, qualified 9 for the NCAAs, and his peers in the Southeast Regional selected him as the men's coach of the year, Eric Jenkins of Western Kentucky University.
But Kentucky has probably the strongest officials group in the United States overall. We had more officials at the World Championships last year, or at the IAAF World Championships than any state around, so I'm proud of them. I don't know which ones are here for sure, but I'm going to do them pretty quick. Keith Brown of Harrodsburg, Kentucky. Wayne, I know is here. Wayne Burke from LaGrange. Mike Crowhurst from Somerset. Randy Chris from Wilmore, Kentucky. Roland Dale from Shelbyville, Kentucky. It'll take him a while to get up here. Ricky Drawball from Pleasantville, Kentucky. Kevin Ferguson from Spotsville, Kentucky. Sadie Gamble from Danville, Kentucky. Audley Gordon from Louisville, Kentucky. Carolyn Green from Lexington, Kentucky. Danny Housen from Shepherdsville, Kentucky. And we would ask that you put Danny on your prayer list. He's had some pretty serious health issues in the hospital at this time, and he needs lifted up. Ashley Moore from Louisville, Kentucky. Carla Morton from Louisville, Kentucky. Sharon Newton from Guston, Kentucky. Ed Wallace from Madisonville. And Chris Wallace from Madisonville. We just got back from the National Convention in Anaheim, California. The following officials were selected to work the 2015 USATF National Meet in Eugene, Oregon. Doug Allen from here in Lexington will be the chief of the hammer throw. Kathy Johnson from here in Lexington will be working in the long and the triple jump. Tim King from Falmouth, Kentucky will be working in the hammer throw. Jim McKee from Turner Station will be working as an umpire. Kenny Morton from Louisville, Kentucky will be working as a clerk. Frank Newton from Guston, Kentucky will be working in the shot put. And I've been selected as the chief umpire. Our official awards for this year are outstanding newcomers. Doug Keaton of Columbia, Kentucky. Michael Schultz of Dry Ridge, Kentucky.
He's going to wrap it up. He's got the only ones left are going to be us.
Outstanding running event official, Greg Hopkins from Owensboro, Kentucky. Outstanding field event official from Vine Grove, George Leaf. Next, we have two officials that we're going to recognize for their long-term duty. Anybody that's an official this long has been cussed and discussed more than anybody in Kentucky. Our first one going into the Officials Hall of Kentucky USATF Hall of Fame. He's the 14th official to be inducted. He started his career in 1971 when he became track coach at Erlander Lloyd, where he won the NKAC title 2 times, the Kentucky Regional Sectional Championships in '83. That proves he's old, because most of you don't even know what a sectional championship was here. That's how long ago they were held. At this time, the coaches, when you were coaching, it also meant you were an official. We've got some things changed, things have moved up for the officials. They now receive stipends. It's not often that you coach and officiate in the same meeting. In 1978, he became the cross-country coach as well as the board, and as well as the boys track coach. He was the regional runner-up and the Northern Kentucky Coach of the Year. In '83, he became the cross-country coach at Connor High School, where he won numerous regional titles in track. During that time, he was on board of the directors for the Queen City Striders and coached their teams. He coached the team 10 and under youth national championships in 1983 and the national JO runner-ups. And he won many age group titles during his coaching tenure there. He was the meet director and referee for the Region 5 TAC meet at Lakota. There again, that shows his age. He can talk TAC. It's not USATF. In '85, he was the course director and meet coordinator for the National Junior Olympics Cross Country Championships in Kings Island. In 1986, he started the second Bluegrass Games with Coach Stewart of Bourbon County. He served as the head shot put judge at the Bluegrass State Games. He has been the head shot put judge at the state track meet for a number of years. He organized the Northern Kentucky Olympians, taking runners to Hagerstown, Maryland, and Pennsylvania for the national JOs, and they were renamed Team Kentucky, which is now the team that's still competing. In 1992, he became the track and cross-country coach at Rowell High School. He's worked in Kentucky State meet as a shot put. He's worked in Kentucky State meet as a referee. He served as the head field judge at the state meet. 2015 marks his 47th year as a coach or official of track and cross country. Ladies and gentlemen, we're inducting into the Hall of Fame one Buddy Ditz. Kathy's supposed to come up and kiss you all goodbye, but she says she is doing nothing but getting ready to clean this place up. Thank you all for coming. Have a safe journey, and we hope to see you all back here next year.
Good job, Bo.